former members of the Jefferson County Development Authority. There are only former members of the JCDA right now, so that's an easy way to group everybody who's been a part of that. But we want to introduce them to you right now. Elizabeth Ricketts. Good morning, Elizabeth. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm well.
Thank you for coming in. Greg Mason as well. Greg, thank you for coming in.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Elizabeth, I'll start with you first. How long were you a member of the Jefferson County Development Authority?
I was appointed in May of 2023, and in that time, I've only missed one meeting.
Okay, and you're a Charlestown Council member as well, City of Charlestown?
Mm-hmm. I was just elected to a second term with the City of Charlestown.
Okay, and Greg, how long have you been on the JCDA, or had you been?
I've been on the JCDA a little over 6 years. My term had ended a few months back, and they asked me to stay on, so I stayed on a little longer.
Have you been on any other boards or councils or anything previously?
Not in the county, but I'm on a board with the state with WVU MEP.
Okay, and Elizabeth, you? Other than Charlestown City Council?
Yeah, I also serve as the Jefferson County representative for the Eastern Panhandle Transit Authority, and I serve on the Hagerstown Eastern Panhandle Metropolitan Planning Organization as well.
Okay, very good. While you were on the JCDA, and you were there 6 years, you were there too, Elizabeth, what was the mission statement? What was the goal of the JCDA? What were you trying to accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, our goal really was set by state code, and it determined that we were to look holistically at the economy. We didn't want to overemphasize one sector, and there was also the important element of the economic welfare of the county. That's explicitly stated in state code. So when you think about the welfare, you're thinking about not just one industry or type of industry. You have to look at things playing well together, working well together, and we believe that JCDA was doing a great job of supporting the whole economy of Jefferson County.
And you were all removed at the same time?
Yes, without notice.
And was there reasons specifically given after you were removed?
There's been some different reasons given by different commissioners. You had 2 county commissioners on your show last week. They tried to claim initially that this was because of a state code change, but Chapter 7, Article 12 has been the state code that governs development authorities for decades, and it's changed slightly many times over the years. And this change did not require that the board be fired and that there be a fresh start. It was meant to accommodate counties where there's low volunteerism or just smaller populations. The code change allowed for boards to now be no fewer than 7 and no more than 21 persons. So our 15-member board fit perfectly fine in that legal requirement.
And you had mentioned in our Facebook comment section last week, Elizabeth, that there was an investigation that the JCDA was involved in with some funds being spent by the county commission?
Sort of correct. There was a investigative committee formed unanimously by the Development Authority Board. And the purpose there was to look into the discrepancies going on, looking into the state code that gives the board.
What discrepancies?
So there's been some disagreement over the bylaws, who has authority to write and change those. The county commission at a March meeting attempted to redline the organization's bylaws. Additionally, state code says that the board hires its own staff, and the commission and the county administrator took over hiring. And then there was
no money was involved in this investigation. Then.
No money was involved in the investigation.
Okay.
I think
apologize.
the $400,000 that was quoted by the commissioners, that's the annual contribution that the county commission makes to the development authority. And I'm pretty sure most development authorities in the state receive some funding, at least, from their county commissions. There are some that may have become, self-funded.
Why do these things matter? The bylaws and the things that these internal things. Why does that matter to the citizens of the county?
Well, I mean, we're a public agency, so I think we owe it to the people of Jefferson County to be following the rules and the law and the order and how we conduct our business.
But I mean, to the mission for the holistic development of the economy and all that, how do the changes affect the citizenry of the county, one way or the other?
My answer would be that if they change the bylaws and we took some of the recommendations that they made changes, we wouldn't have the ag committee. We wouldn't have some committees. I'm big on ag in Jefferson County. I think it's a huge thing for Jefferson County. I don't think they want the ag committee. I'm not sure why. I don't understand that. I don't know why we were.
And what did the ag committee, agriculture, I presume, what did the ag committee do, and what would no longer be happening if it were eliminated?
Well, what we were doing, one of the things we were working on is trying to bring in a meat processing plant. It's big for the county. They don't know where to take farm animals. They have to wait in line sometime months in Maryland and other places and book that stuff. So I'm concerned if they take the ag committee away, certain other committees, but especially including the ag committee, the agriculture in Jefferson County will suffer, and I firmly believe that. So.
Yeah.
Bill?
I hope we don't get down in the weeds too early, because I'm concerned about the process of what happened here.
We'll get to the process.
Okay.
Absolutely, Bill. And I know that's important to you as a
Yeah.
former commission president. You worked with the Berkeley County Development Authority. But Elizabeth, specifically last week when we had Pasha Majdi and Kara Keys on, the Jefferson County Commissioners, mentioned an investigation, and she felt, it at least implied, that they were removed because of the investigation. That's a pretty serious charge.
Yeah, I mean, the timing really makes you wonder, because we had formed this committee at our June meeting. July 1st, the committee met. We were developing a plan of action, who we needed to talk to, including previous staff, previous board members. We had to understand how we got to this point. And then it was a week later at the county commission meeting that we were all removed.
You're about to say, Greg?
I'd like to say, and if you look at it, for months, there had been vacancies on our board. The county commission, if the board was doing a bad job, we knew these vacancies were there. The county commission did not fill the vacancies. We knew people's terms were getting ready to run out or had run out. We asked them to stay. If the county commission was so unhappy with the board and the members of the board, why didn't they have a plan to replace these people? I run a business, and in my business, if I'm unhappy with an employee, and the employee gives their notice, I'm not going to ask them to stay or extend their terms. I'm going to prepare for that exit. I'm not going to shut down a whole department or a whole company because I'm unhappy with certain things. But it does seem very odd to me and other people in the community that in the middle of all this, we want to investigate what happened. So prior with the JCDA board, if we had an issue or whatever, we would get together and work on it. But in the hiring and the disciplining and all that, we took care of that. And then the county commission had started to take that over. So we're wondering what's happening. So we're not saying what's right or wrong. We just wonder what's happening. So we form an investigative committee to get the facts. So we understand the facts about what happened, what the laws are, and understand that. That's what the committee was. But the committee had one meeting, and then we were shut down after that. We were terminated. It just seems very odd to me and many others that happened that way.
Bill, now to the process. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's my impression that this was quite sudden, that you did not know about it. You had not been given any advance warning. There were no public hearings on this. Was there very much discussion at the county commission prior to taking this action?
I don't know the answer to that, but I would assume there was.
There was not public discussion. There may have been conversations behind the scenes, but the public meeting, the way we were interpreting it was they were finally taking up appointments to the vacancies, some of which had been vacant for over 6 months.
This is what bothers me, and I mentioned this at a previous WRNR discussion. This was pretty monumental. It was significant in a lot of regards. It's the betterment of the county, the individuals, and the right. If you're taking something of this magnitude, it needed to be vetted thoroughly. The fact that all 5 commissioners voted on it with my impression, this is only my perception, that there was minimum discussion, leads me to believe that there had been some decisions made beforehand. You do not make decisions of this magnitude in such a narrow time space as what happened. If that was in fact the case, and this is, again, I'm not saying it was, but it kind of directs me to think this, then there was a violation of our open meeting law, that this needed at the minimum to be a full-blown open discussion at the county commission meeting, or better yet, it would have been asking public comment over a series of meetings. Neither one of that happened. I cannot pass judgment on the merits of what happened. I don't know that much about it, but I think I can pass judgment on the procedural matter, the way it was done, and I think it's it's coming up short. I had Jefferson County Commission, we all know, has had a kind of an uneven history, and I was hoping they had turned the corner and was going to be a lot more transparent, a lot more getting folks involved. I'm not sure this advances that direction. So.
I would agree with that. I think it's clear that they're not advancing in the direction that they want to be more open about what they're doing. I mean, from what you can see in this act, they're not being open with the public about what's going on. And I would challenge that. You know, if they question the way that we were doing our job or not effectively, I think we were doing fine with the amount of members we had. I think we've proven with that. We're number 3 in the state for growth and all. So anyway, I think we were doing good with that. But it sure seems like there was something else behind us.
Okay, so a couple minutes ago, you talked about this committee, this investigative thing that you were doing, and there seems to be a nexus between, an implied nexus between the timing of that and then the dissolution of the committee. So say the quiet part out loud. What is it? What do you think is going on? What is there? Is something being covered up? Is this just a temper tantrum? What do you think is going on?
It's just my opinion, because I don't
Just
really
opinion,
know.
right.
My opinion is
Absence
it's
of evidence.
somewhat of a power struggle, and I don't understand that. We didn't want power. We want to do what's best for the community and the citizens. And again, the investigative committee was just to find the facts.
And are you suggesting that the commission does not want that?
Oh, well, it appears that they don't want that. I mean, if you had a guy, one of the commissioners on here last week or so, and he made it clear that that's not the way they want to spend their money investigating stuff. We want to follow the law. We don't care whether we're right or wrong. We want to know what the facts are. That's what the committee wanted to do.
Elizabeth, I spoke with you last week and asked you this question last week on the phone. I'll ask you again here on this interview here. In regards to the JCDA, what has the JCDA accomplished towards economic growth? And Greg, please answer the same question while you've been on the board, Elizabeth.
Yeah, well, the 2025 business growth projections came out, and it ranked Jefferson County as number 3 in the state for growth. 78 new businesses registered in that time. You know, we may not have had direct control over bringing those businesses in, but I think the board's mission of a holistically healthy economy attracted those businesses. There's been great strides made on bringing in the meat processing plant, which was something we heard directly from farmers was needed for the agriculture sector. We've also worked with the YMCA, trying to encourage them to locate in Jefferson County. And additionally, the business park.
Action they did a couple so weeks ago. What precipitated?
It's just my opinion that the county commissioners, or some or all, and I don't want to name names, but anyway, I feel like maybe they felt they weren't getting exactly what they wanted or whatever from us. I don't recall where this whole thing could have started or no, but I believe that them wanting to change our bylaws and decrease the number of members and get rid of the ag representatives, some of the county or some of the city municipality representatives and all that, I don't think they were happy that we didn't want to accept the bylaw change. So we want the city's representative are represented in our board. We want to know how the cities feel about what they're doing or what we're doing, what they want to do, what part they want to play in. We want that. I don't think that the number of people that we had on the board ever interfered with getting things done. I think we had a pretty good blend of people.
So the rewrite of the bylaws would preclude someone from the city sitting on the Development Authority?
Yes, so back in March, the commission sent redlined versions of the bylaws back to us, and that included removing a representative from each of the 5 municipalities.
So this is interesting. When you first started talking about the holistic approach to the county and such, you really, and I could be reading into this, you really leaned on a holistic approach to the whole economy. You really leaned on the word whole, which leads me to believe that there's pressures, you're feeling pressures to develop one side of the economy rather than the other side of the economy. Expand on that, because you just nodded. So
sure.
Expand on that.
I mean, last week, you had the commissioners on, and they kept hitting hard about we need big business. We need to bring more big business to Jefferson County. And I think that's kind of short-sighted, because that's, again, just looking at one element of the economy. We have amazing, entrepreneurs in this county that own small businesses that I think are really the backbone of our economy here. We have an amazing tourism industry that continues to flourish and grow. So I think just focusing in on one type of, company or building is a disservice to Jefferson County.
Is it possible that that's the root of all of this? It's just different ideas of what the mission is. The commission wants to have a bigger, thriving, metropolis-y kind of county, and y'all's group is looking more less large or more diverse. Is it possible it's rooted in something that's simple?
I mean, frankly, it's not solely up to them. The county commission gets one representative on the board who has equal footing with the other members. I mean, the purpose of the development authority and the ability to have it be such a large representative board is that you get all the different viewpoints of the county, not just the county commissions.
I would answer that yes, that's possible, but I don't know that that's the reason. But if it is, if you think about when the commissioners were on last week talking about big business and pilot agreements and incentives and that kind of stuff, back in many years ago with the rock wool coming into the county and what happened to Jefferson County and the JCDA board at that time, that's the reason I joined the board. So the board, I think we had agreed with the county commission, we wanted to be more open. We wanted to do what was good for the public, what was good for the community, but yet follow the mission. So we weren't focused only on big business. We do want big business. I don't want big industrial, but we do want big business. But we want a well-rounded community, and we want to take care of the small businesses and all there as well. So if you get to talking about the pilot agreements that the commissioner said the other week that he was for and incentives and all that, I'm not totally against pilot agreements, but let's be fair to everybody when we do the pilot agreements, and let's be open and understand what that really means. So if you're able to start a business in Jefferson County, you're not going to pay taxes for 5 years or 10 years or 35 years or for the life of the project, and I'm in a competitive business and I have to pay my full taxes, is that really fair? I'm not totally against pilot agreements, so I don't want anybody to think that, but I want to be fair and well-rounded to the whole community, and I want to be open about it. And I think we should be.
Some of the background material that I've read, the county administrator name is invoked on occasion, and she was also had been previously the executive director for the development authority.
Eddie Benitez.
Yeah. Do you think that she has any role in what the county commission recently did?
My opinion is absolutely.
Would you expound?
I just want to give an opinion because I don't want to, it's something the investigative committee might have found some stuff with, but I worked with Eddie for a few years, and I think she's trying to do what she thinks right in some cases, but I'm not sure that she is happy with the JCDA or what they're doing, or it meets her mission or what she wants to accomplish in life, or her personal goals or her county goals or whatever.
And the county commission, put the JCDA in a really strange spot when, Eddie Benitez was serving as the JCDA director, and then the county hired her as the interim county administrator and allowed her to serve in both roles for nearly a year. And that's really when we saw meetings being canceled, committees not meeting, things falling through the cracks.
Is that the stuff that the investigating committee might have found?
It certainly could have been looked at. We had some great staff that left, and there were questions of why. We brought on a new staff in the fall of this last year, and, Greg and I and the rest of the board really felt we were finally getting back on track. The meetings were happening, committees were meeting, and we felt that the board was going in the right direction.
Since all the members have been removed, have there been interviews conducted yet in regards to reinstating the commission or the JCDA, and have each of you been offered an opportunity to re-interview for position?
So I definitely think that this action should be rescinded and that all of the board members that were serving should be reinstated. As Mr. Stubblefield said, there's serious questions about if this violated the Open Meetings Act, and I believe it does, and I think it'll be up
What's
to
the
the court.
mechanism for that? Is that a court?
That would be a court decision. I mean, the Ethics Commission could weigh in or provide some background.
How much time does that take?
There's a 120-day statute of limitations on filing that, so yeah.
Should I assume it's not been filed yet?
Not been filed yet.
Do you have counsel of an attorney at this time?
Not as a group.
Have you individually approached attorneys with your concerns?
I have.
Elizabeth, did you Greg?
I have not.
You have not?
I've been in conversation where we've talked with city leaders and different other people to consult with their attorneys and how they felt about it before we took the next step.
And in regards to re-interviewing for JCDA positions, has that begun yet with the commission? And have you been offered an opportunity, or have you inquired as to the ability to interview?
Yeah, so it's my understanding that in their first meeting in August, the commission is going to be conducting interviews, which means the Development Authority was left without a board for, over a month. And, I think it's absolutely paramount that the municipalities retain representation. Personally, I have some discomfort about reapplying, particularly because of an additional change at the county level, which is the requirement that board members now sign a mission agreement, which I think is very close to a loyalty pledge.
Greg?
I have not been asked to rejoin, and that's probably because I had said I didn't plan on extending my term. They asked me to extend my term a little bit, but to reapply, I told them I didn't plan to do that. And I got a nice letter from Eddie that thanked me for my service and welcomed me to join any other boards in the county or whatever. But
So you had planned to cycle off anyway?
I had planned to cycle off anyway, yes.
Going back to legal representation, if you do decide to appeal to the Ethics Committee, will the bulk of the folks that have been dismissed, do you anticipate they will get legal counsel or join as a single group, or just get the impression, Elizabeth, that you're going to probably get legal counsel? Do you think others will join you?
I can't really speak for any of the other former board members. I mean, they were all well-respected members of our community that were volunteering to do this, and I think doing a great job in it. I hope that they will consider some action, because I don't think what was done to us was right.
About a minute left. If any of you have a final comment, now's the time to make it. Bill or John or Elizabeth or Greg.
I'd be curious to see how this tracks out. As I said earlier, I don't think something like this needed to have happened. There are other ways to do it. Jefferson County, I think, really needs to work hard to get everybody pulling together. This does not have everybody pulling at the same pace.
Right. And I think if this action by the commission is allowed to stand, that we're just really going to see a dangerous step towards cronyism and corruption in Jefferson County.
Please, Jefferson County residents, get to understand and know what's going on in your government and your community, especially the county commission, and think about who you're voting for.
Appreciate you folks coming in today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Greg Mason, Elizabeth Ricketts.